training, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I'm also going to keep an eye on chat. Please don't fill chat with your client questions. Does that make sense? We're in the process of learning what this version of Flash is. Don't start converting it yet to how am I going to work with this process, because I love those questions and then I'm going to get distracted and it's going to take time that we need. Let's get the basics down. We're literally learning the chords. Don't ask questions about jazz. Does that make sense? Let's just get the chords down and then we'll figure that out a little bit later. Also, this training is just the beginning of a longer conversation. And all of those conversations are free, right? So I do 2 monthly Flash consults. I've been doing them for years. You can come to for free to get your client questions asked whenever you're having trouble implementing this with your clients. Okay, so again, I'm going to keep an eye on chat. Just be careful. Sometimes in chat, you know how this is with online training. Sometimes chat becomes its own thing. It like becomes this whole thing, and we're covering important content right now. So just keep that in mind. So page 3, what this training teaches you. There's 6 pretty simple steps here. I want to 7, there's kind of like a 7th step that kind of pulls it all together. Yeah. Oh, I see a question in chat. You don't have to be trained in EMDR or anything else to be here. The only prerequisite is that you're a therapist or you're a therapist trainee. Does that make sense? That's the only requirement that you have to be here. Some of my metaphors might be EMDR related because it's just how a lot of people that do Flash come to Flash. So if I say something that's an EMDR reference that you don't know what it is, I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try to explain things. But if I say something, just put in chat, what's the SUDS? I don't know what a SUDS is, right? So let me know, because I want to not be jargony. And those of you who are not EMDR trained, I'm especially glad you're here, because Flash has a very broad circulation in the EMDR community. It does not have a broad circulation outside of it. So I'm delighted to like help bring Flash outside of our little bitty tiny, I'm not going to use the I word, close knit family of EMDR. You know, so if yeah, I'm glad y'all are here, and the EMDR people, I'm glad you're here too. Yeah, good. Give me a second. Putting that in chat. The treatment guide again in chat, training manual in chat. And again, page 3, how to do these 7 steps well, kind of the 6 core steps, and then how to work in a future something after we've done the other steps. How to figure out when something's not going well. And guess what? In trauma work, what could go wrong? You know, things could, right? We're like handling lava with a human nervous system. What could go wrong? Like really, really quickly. So things could absolutely will go wrong in Flash. How to figure out what's going on, how to intervene, how to get them back on track as soon as possible. Good. And how to do this version of Flash in individual sessions, right? And then we'll talk about how we can train you in doing group work if you're really interested in that. So this version of Flash, first of all, Flash itself was developed by an EMDR therapist nearly 10 years ago, 2017, by a guy named Phil Manfield. And it was understood originally as a way to take heat out of memories, right? And you don't have to be an EMDR therapist to understand that if there's something that can make a 10 out of 10 horrible memory a 2 out of 10 horrible memory, then let's do that before we go in and explore it deeply, right? So again, Flash was like this desensitization thing that you can do before you do other trauma therapies with it. But I think what happened is that Flash grew up, right? It grew up, it developed its own personality, and it started to teach us like who it is. And it's not a surprise that something that takes heat out of memories but doesn't fully resolve it, you may find a way that maybe you just weren't doing it well, right? And then there may be ways to really do it well that allow your client to completely heal, completely, permanently, forever heal. Okay. So again, Flash was discovered about 9 years ago by an EMDR therapist named Phil Manfield. It's not trademarked. And you know what that means? That means other versions of it are allowed to exist. And this version exists. There are plenty other versions. I kind of think everybody that's a Flash therapist does Flash kind of has their own versions anyway. That's what's pretty amazing about it. So, Flash, this is a key part. The part that I'm getting at is a really, really important part. It involves two non-intuitive activities. Okay. So, do you know what non-intuitive means? It means it doesn't feel right, right? It feels like, do you know what I mean? Intuitive means you turn your wheel left and you expect the car to go left, right? Non-intuitive is like you turn the wheel left and your car goes right. That just doesn't feel right, right? That doesn't feel right at all. The first of the non-intuitive things are that we look at a memory blindingly quickly. I mean, really quickly. And if you have a good wrist and if anything here is compromised or you're struggling, don't do this exercise. But if you have a good wrist, you have a good elbow, you have a good shoulder, let's imagine that this is a door that's just, I don't know, it's a door to a kitchen or something, okay? And then what we want to do is we want to open that door as quickly as you possibly can. That's how quickly we're going to look at that memory. So try it, okay? Good. That is way too slow. That is so slow that zombies are going to come through it. Does that make sense? Can you do it again, but do it 100 times faster? I'm still seeing the arms of zombies come through, right? We want to right, try it again, fast as you can. Okay, good. Another way to do it is anyone here at a desk? Are you at a desk? Does the desk have a drawer? Can you open and close that drawer so quickly that you only see one thing? Try it. And if you see more than one thing, do it again faster. And if you see two things, do it again faster. Okay, do you see what we're doing? Do you see how, especially when it comes to trauma, that's not how we do trauma. I don't know how you do trauma, but when I do trauma outside of Flash, I want to get the rope swing and swing out into the deep end of it. I want to be like, and then the time they did, and then that other, right? I want to like, this is not that. We are getting one piece, one frame, one tiny, tiny bit, especially in the beginning. Okay. That is not intuitive. And if you haven't done Flash, you haven't ever looked at a bad memory that quickly, right? There's no other psychotherapy I'm aware of. And if you're aware of a psychotherapy where you look at the bad memory that quickly, let me know. Because I'm doing research on this, but I don't believe there's another psychotherapy where you look at a memory that blindingly fast. So if in a memory, someone's father is like, you're so stupid, we're just getting, or that's it. And even as I say that, that doesn't feel right, does it? Does it make sense? It just doesn't. We want more. We want it to hit us. We want it to like we want to like play it until it shows up in our nervous system, until it shows. And if you do that in Flash, you've overactivated. So think about a hot skillet with a wet finger. That's what we're doing in Flash. And if you're doing this, not only is Flash not working, your client's about to get hurt. Okay. So that is really, really weird. Okay. Looking at a memory really, really quickly. And then the other thing, which we never do, when we activate trauma is that what we do is we get a little bitty tiny piece of something, we send it out of our awareness, and you know what we do? We load up YouTube and watch puppies playing or cats wrestling, right? Or you watch, again, assess for disordered eating, but you watch videos of pizza coming out of the oven, right? You're engaged in something that is pleasant, that shifts how you feel in the present moment. It can be golden retrievers jumping up and down, videos of golden retrievers jumping up and down, chasing tennis balls in fields of hay. Okay. My client's favorite calm scene, the favorite calm scene I've ever seen is a client who brought a deli sandwich to session, wrapped in deli paper. And those of you that love a sandwich, you can go there. Do you know what? Or whatever it is, you can go there, can't you? Right? So, and again, in this calm scene, this pleasant scene, this engaging scene, they're literally smelling their sandwich. They're first crinkling it open. They're smelling their sandwich, then they're cutting it into pieces, and then they're literally consuming their pleasant scene the whole time. If you're an EMDR therapist, I'm going to say this probably 10 times. Even though it says in the manual you can do an imaginary calm scene, do not do an imaginary calm scene. There's not enough time for you to fully load it up. I'm only giving you a few seconds in it. Don't do it. We're going to do YouTube. You can pet. Anybody here have a pet in the room with you right now? Is it in the room with you? 3 kitties. Good. You can use your pet as your calm scene under one condition. You like it. Because some people, I'm like, oh, do you want to use your dog? They're like, no, I hate him. He bites my feet and he poops on my shoes. Okay, well, no, fine, we're not going to use it then. But it needs to be a resource. It needs to shift how you feel in the present moment quickly. So this combination of light activation and immediately pivoting to something pleasant is extremely weird from a point of view of intuition. And I'm only going to say this related to intuition. Where do we get our intuition from? A lot of it comes from the cultures that surround us. Does that make sense? Most of our intuition. And even if you think turning left means your car goes left, that's only because cultures decided that 120 years ago. It may have been different, and then we'd have different intuition than we do now. So what I mean by cultural intuition is that the same cultures that wound us have a very heavy footprint, not just in what we're allowed to count as wounding, but about how we should heal. And I don't mean to start this conspiratorial, but if that's the case, the very cultures that wound us often construct obstacles to healing. So many of our clients come to us with amazing survival strategies that make great cultural sense. Avoidance makes fantastic cultural sense. It serves the cultures around us very, very well. Numbing is awesome, works right up until the point that it doesn't, right? And then catharsising it, like just going and like having the same catharsis over and over and over. That makes an enormous amount of cultural sense because Freud and Breuer told us 135 years ago that that's what psychotherapy is. Okay? So what we're doing is culturally weird. That is its biggest asset because what makes cultural sense has never worked, but we'll do it our whole lifetime expecting it to. Okay. And again, those of you that are EMDR therapists, when I first heard about EMDR, I'm like, that is so weird. I don't want to do that. I want to be a respectable therapist. I don't want to like do that weird noticing eye movement stuff. And now you do EMDR, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm wondering if this is what people did 20,000 years ago before we outsourced therapy to little bitty rooms with drywall and fluorescent lighting. Or maybe this is what people, maybe there was this left-right drumming that people did a long time ago with deep present-based cultural noticing and witnessing. Like before the sacred got put in the sky, it was somatic, thus worthy of deep present-based awareness and attunement. But now EMDR is like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is like what healing has to be. But you know what it is? It's an intuition. It's a new intuition, right? So EMDR was weird. Flash is going to be weird. And we can't let the fact that it's not culturally intuitive be a reason we don't do it if that's the thing that's kept us stuck all this time. So we need ways to heal that are weird, because every way that's transformative is. And the things that make perfect sense don't. So let's think about one way to do this. And again, I'm not suggesting that this version of Flash is better than any other versions. I will say it's more carefully thought out, right? I mean, there's some trainings that you can go to where you'll get a 3-page orientation to Flash. Some of my training manuals are 70, 80 pages, and they're books that are coming. So this is a very well thought out, not just little tool, but a potential approach to psychotherapy. Because if what I'm saying is right, that Flash resolves memories, that's got to become an approach to psychotherapy. It doesn't matter that there's no distress in it, right? It doesn't matter that you went all this time and did a master's degree and all you're saying is blink 179 times in a session. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Are we in the business of like helping people get better? And if we're in the business of helping people get better, and this is a way to help them reset their nervous system, then you get to use it the way you want to. Does that make sense? You can use it as a tool. You can use it as part of a worldview of what psychopathology is and how it may get better. So page 4. These are the 7 steps, and I'm going to walk through them. I say that I'm going to walk through them. Let me do something different because I'm developing a little bit more self-awareness. I say I'm going to walk through them quickly, and then I end up walking through them over 40 minutes. So I'm not going to say, so let's spend our 40 minutes giving an overview of these 7 steps. And then we'll take we'll kind of pause that a minute and we'll talk about working mechanism. And then we'll come back and walk through the steps slower. Okay. First, we don't do trauma work, even in a crisis context, without some resources in place. It's just not safe, right? So step 1 and step 2 is where we develop those resources. And the 4 resources that we're using are very, very easy to teach people with really complex trauma. And if you're having difficulty with them because your client struggles visualizing, I'm going to teach you accommodations for those. Okay, so they're really reasonably easy resources. Most people, including people with complex trauma, you can easily teach all 4 of them in a session. And many people, you can teach all 4 resources in half of a session. Which, you know what that means? You may be able to do Flash in the second half of that session. Okay. Step 1, there's 2 resources in step 1. They're not itemized here perfectly, but step 1, we develop a container. And here's the dilemma. Remember when I said you're looking at the memory really quickly? And if your father in it is saying you're so stupid and you're just getting or you're just getting this little piece of it, that thing is what we bring into work, is in working memory, and then that thing is moving away from you. So here's the thing that's really strange in Flash. That's completely different than EMDR therapy. So if you're here thinking EMDR, that like this is like a light version of EMDR, it's not. So if EMDR is an orange, Flash is not a mandarin orange. Does that make sense? If EMDR is an orange, Flash is a kitten. And it's not even an orange kitten, it's a gray kitten. So there's absolutely nothing about one that's going to make you be better at the other. Does that make sense? They're completely opposite intuitions. So in EMDR, we like activate things and we really sit with and notice things in the body. In Flash, distress is always moving away from you. If it's sitting in your body, we are not going forward. We're using one of our 4 resources to deal with that distress. We do not push into distress in this version of Flash, not 1,000th of 1 inch. If distress is coming, it must be moving away from you before you go forward. So the container is some place that we can put whatever that thing is and send it out of awareness. Okay. And again, if you struggle visualizing, we're going to talk about accommodations. You know what you can do? I invite you to just one time, just swipe. Just do that. Good. Do you know what that's doing when you notice that? Try it again and notice it. What's that? What message is that sending? Right? It's sending the message, I'm not thinking about that. I'm not feeling it. I'm not connecting to it. I'm not seeing what else it connects to. Does that make sense? And for goodness sakes, I'm not noticing it. It's by definition moving away from me. So it's not EMDR, and it's not somatic, and it's not parts work. It's something else. Okay? Yeah. Competence to do Flash, you're going to have to determine on your own. So we'll talk about how you can learn more, how you can get more if you need to. Plenty of people take this training and then use it next session, and clients do pretty well with it. So, but your competence in doing this is something you have to evaluate. And if you really don't understand it or don't get it, there's lots of resources I can point you to where you can watch you can watch 6 whole sessions of people doing this. Okay. So we're going to develop the container just to send not the memory. This is important. Where are my props? Here we go. Let's imagine this. This is a different metaphor than how we normally work. Imagine this is the memory. That memory stays in your brain. Okay. We're not looking at the memory and then containing the memory. We're not. You know what we're containing? Only the little bitty tiny piece of it that came out. So we're used to thinking of a memory being like a bowling ball that's either in your hand, it's either in working memory or it's not. We're leaving the whole of the memory where it is, and we're just getting a single bean of the bean bag out and sending it away. So we're not containing the memory, we're leaving it where it is in your brain. And we're getting a little bitty tiny slice of it, and we're sending it away. Do you see the difference? You see how that's metaphorically different than how we normally work with memories, where we activate the heck out of them. And then what happens is, boom, the memory just shows up in working memory and it's all over your body and you're having a body-based catastrophe. That is not what we're doing in Flash. We're micro-activating a single piece, a single sound, a single element, a single piece of sadness, a single piece of fear, a little bit of it at a time. And then all these beans add up on the other side to a fully resolved memory. And if you're like, that's not EMDR, it's not, but you work a piece at a time in EMDR. You don't activate the whole memory all at once. It's just their big old thick Flintstone steaks. Does that make sense? And what I'm having you do in Flash is a paper thin cut. See the difference? Okay. So the other resource, and if you're a somatic practitioner, that's awesome. That's awesome. First of all, hold on. In chat, so the container contains the whole memory. It does not. Your brain contains the whole memory. The container, we're only putting in the container what we just activated in that memory, that little piece only. Okay, awesome. Good. So you've already guessed what's going to happen when you even think about thinking about the memory. Boom, it shows up in your body. doesn't it? Okay. Guess what? In Flash, that's a problem because we're trying to catch it here and boom, it's showing up in your body. Well, we have a resource called ShopVac. And if you're like, Tom, I'm a somatic practitioner, don't tell me we're about to vacuum distress out of the body. We're about to vacuum distress out of the body. Sorry, not sorry. This isn't somatic experiencing. That's a different psychotherapy. That's a cucumber, right? It's not an orange, it's not a kitten, it's a whole other thing. Does that make sense? So I'll walk you through that resource. And if you have trouble with ShopVac, we'll find another resource that works well for you. But we need resources to get distress out of the body quickly for reasons that we're going to talk about. Okay, step 2, calm scene. Calm scene is ideally, again, this is now the second time I'm going to say it, and I'm probably going to have to say it 6 times, especially to the EMDR therapist, because you're like, I know calm scene, I know safe space, I have that. This is not that. This is something different. And the way I try to spoil it is the Flash container is not your EMDR container. The Flash calm scene is not your EMDR calm scene. You have multiple things in your bathroom with bristles. If you're using them for different things, they deserve to be separate objects, right? Sensible? So the calm scene should not be imaginary in Flash. I know in the treatment guide it says that it can be because you're going to have clients who are going to insist on it. But I strongly recommend you use a YouTube video or a Spotify playlist, not your breakup playlist, not your angsty teen in your little dark bedroom, wanting to, contemplate existential stuff, not that playlist, right? Not your get up and dance power anthem playlist, right? Whether it's Aretha Franklin or whatever it is, that playlist, right? That we got this playlist, that can be it. Or you can pet an actual dog with your actual hand in real time. That can be your calm scene. You can play a musical instrument as your calm scene. You can watch what food again, assess for disordered eating. What food do you love, love, love? Does anybody here just love coffee way more than the average person? There's coffee pornography on YouTube where they're just swirly, creamy. There's stuff on YouTube that if you're a coffee person, oh my goodness, you'll be able to smell the beans through the screen. It's elegant stuff. So whatever it is you love or is the funniest thing that you've seen in a while. So put in chat, what's the funniest or most engaging videos you've seen in the last few months? For me, I know it's not going to last long, being funny lasting long, but when those AI babies that talk crap about their parents, have y'all seen those? Oh my gosh. Or the people that dress up their dogs in costumes, like there's a little chihuahua that has a waiter outfit on and he's carrying little champagne bottles, like whatever. So again, put in chat, what videos are so funny? Good. Cows, cats, puppies, Schitt's Creek, and Schitt's Creek, I apologize to those of you that love Schitt's Creek. It's a rough week. We lost a legend actor this week. Man, yeah, birds, baby goats, people dancing, young Frankenstein. You can watch highlight clips on YouTube of your favorite series or highlight clips of The Office, Michael Scott doing one terrible thing right after the next, right? And that can be your calm scene. So good. It can't be reading. Does that make sense? It can't be reading. Reading's too slow. You can't get Anna Karenina and go, happy, happy families are all the same. Blink. It doesn't work, right? Reading's too slow. We need something really, really engaging. Yeah. If it's not tangible, it's imaginary. So I want it to be, I want it to be, you know what I mean? I want you to be able to do it in the present moment. Awesome. It can be your favorite comedian. It can be your favorite food, whatever it is. Videos of your favorite foods coming out of the oven. Yeah, excellent. And then the fourth resource is grounding, which we've already done. Okay, good. Real quickly, I want to talk about the two rules of the calm scene. We're going to come back and visit a little bit more lately, but let's talk about it here because the pleasant scene, and again, I say calm, but calm's not the right adjective. It can be funny, engaging, distracting, beautiful, astonishing, silly, compelling, any of those things. It needs to shift how you feel in the present moment quickly. That's rule one. It has to be engaging and it has to quickly induce a pleasant experience. Okay? Rule two is it cannot intersect the bad memory at all. Some people say, my kids, that is a great calm scene video under one circumstance. You cannot work on any trauma that connects with your kids. The calm scene. If you have beautiful video of a Maui beach, you cannot use that Maui beach to process divorce trauma if that's where you honeymooned. You can't do it. If they intersect, that is like a short circuit in flash. You can't have it. Does that make sense? It's like matter and antimatter. They explode. You can't have it. Okay. So you can't use babies to process child loss. You can't use a video of funny babies to process child loss. You can't do it in Flash. So if your client has an intersection, immediately switch to another video where that intersection doesn't exist. There are probably 40 billion videos on YouTube. Okay. Do you know what that means? It's lots to choose from. And even your clients will say, I hate people. I'm like, I know you do. What do you love? I don't love anything. I know you like Charlie. Oh, I love Charlie. Charlie's our dog. Charlie's a golden retriever. How about we watch golden retrievers jumping up and down in fields of hay? There's no people in that video. Good, we watch that. Make sense? Good. Do y'all have an idea of what you might use for your calm scene in a little while? Because we're gonna have you do it and use it and practice it. Awesome. Step three, this is a difficult one. This is another thing that's non-intuitive. Step three, once these four resources are in place, we're identifying the memory we're working on, but we're trying not to activate it. That's hard, isn't it? Okay. So, because if your client starts telling you a trauma narrative, remember the memory as a whole we're trying to leave in your brain? They start telling you a trauma narrative. It doesn't take long for it to show up in working memory and then to show up in your body. So, strategies for selecting a memory are, Helen, the memory you said you wanted to work on last time, is that the memory you want to work on today? Yeah, okay, good. Do all parts of you think working on it's a good idea today? Yeah, check. Yeah, good. Okay, good. Just send it away. Let me know when it's gone. Look at a blank ceiling, blank wall. Let me know when it's gone. You see what we did there? We lined up our targets beforehand. Okay. Another thing you can do is very quickly see what the client wants to work on and have them not tell you much about it. What I'm going to ask you when we do this is there a memory? Oh, what if the client finds this challenging? They will. Every part of this they're going to find challenging. Does that make sense? So we're anticipating this, right? We're anticipating it. So step three, and to do it, you got to get consent from their parts to do it this way. This is so non-intuitive. It's like asking them when they're cold to take their coat off or when they're hot to put their coat on. They have to have that, you got to have buy-in with them. to do this. Otherwise, they're going to do what's always kept them stuck. Okay? So again, another thing, what I'm going to ask you is, hey, is there a memory you'd like to work on today? Is it an individual memory that happened at a particular place and time? And do all parts of you think working on that memory is a good idea today? Check. What if a part says no? That's great news. Why do we have to work on that memory today? Let's find a place to work that your parts will consent to working on. I don't want to work on that memory. Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting us know that. Is there another territory where you'd like to work? We should work on Jimmy. Jimmy, there's a boyfriend that, boyfriend a few boyfriends ago. Okay, do you have a specific memory related to Jimmy? Yeah, when I picked up his phone and saw he was a lying, cheating, but okay, good. Do all parts of you think working on that memory is a good idea today? Yeah, good, good. Just put, is that an individual memory that happened at a particular place and time? Yeah, good. Do all parts of you think working on that memory is a good idea today? Yeah, push it out of your awareness, blank it out, let me know when it's gone. You see what we just did there? We selected a memory. And if that feels haphazard, I'm just going to say, what were you going to do in that session? More important than the client resolving a memory that they've identified as important to them. And there are ways to do structured treatment planning and lining up targets. There are ways to do all that. The purpose in this training isn't to introduce you to all of that. It's to just show you how this works. Okay? So you can do a detailed trauma history if you would like to, or you can also get your little laser pointer pointed at something and resolve that thing right now. Okay. So, but they, again, select it, but don't activate it. What I mean by that is imagine a computer icon, imagine a Word file on your desktop. You know what we do? We left click once to select it, but we do not open it up. We don't double click. Make sense? We just highlight it and then quickly move on. Okay. And then we do step 4. Step 4 is load up your calm scene, by which I mean press play on your YouTube video and let me know when you're there. Client lets you know that they're there. This is also an important part. So I invite you to, this is a part you're going to want to pay attention to because it's really a key thing to so much of what we're doing in this version of Flash. So you're playing your calm scene and you're in your calm scene for about 30 seconds at a time. Okay? So the YouTube video is just playing and the client is watching it for 30 seconds at a time. Okay? Except every 5 seconds, the therapist distracts you from that. They have you do blink. So imagine I'm your calm scene, and then every 5 seconds, I ask you to blink your eyes quickly a few times. Do you see what that did? It disrupted your calm scene, and now you're having a new experience in it. So you can blink, that will disrupt your calm scene, and now you're having another calm scene. What you can also do is, I'm going to ask you, when we practice this together, I'm going to ask you to write numbers from 0 to 9 randomly on a piece of paper. Okay? And then instead of saying blink, I'm going to say a number. And then you just look at that number. You look at the number and then you look right back at your video. You can do this with colors. You could do this with farm animals. You can do this with shapes. You could do this in any way you want. If you also don't want to blink, you can look at a doorknob. So when I say 7, if you don't want to look at a number, you just look at your doorknob and then turn and look right back at your video. That works just as well. So what are the blinks doing in this version of Flash? What is the number doing? What these things do is they make a 30-second exposure to your calm scene. They split it into 6 individual 5-second exposures. Okay? So when you pivot away or when you blink, You are disrupting your concentration on your pleasant scene. You're getting out of it for a moment, and then you go back into it. Okay? What the blinks do is they turn a 30-second exposure into 6 individual 5-second exposures. Okay? And there are lots of ways to do that. So this is a version of Flash where you don't have to blink. Okay? And you know what happens if you just stare at your YouTube video and you don't look away, you don't disrupt it at all, you're just in it for 30 seconds at a time? Do you know what happens? Because I've dismantled this here in Cleveland. What happens is that the memory still resolves. It just doesn't resolve in 35 minutes, it resolves in 2 hours. Do you know why? Because it takes you many times longer to get to the hundreds of exposures that are needed for you to update that each little piece of that memory. It works much, much slower. So one of the things Flash teaches us is that if you want to process a memory quickly, it may not be the depth of the exposure. It may simply be the sheer number of calm scenes that you're having. Right? The sheer number, and the blinks generate a large number of them, and looking away and then coming back generates a new. So again, this is, if you don't blink, this is your calm scene. If you do, it's calm scene, calm scene, calm scene, calm scene, calm scene, calm scene. 6, a wall of experiential calm scenes back to back to back to back to back to back to back. I'm going to talk about why that may be really, really, really helpful. Good. Okay, we're in your calm scene. The first time we're in it in step 4, the first time we're in the calm scene, we repeat it. We do it twice. Why? Because it's kind of like a mindful practice. And if you've done like a mindful practice, it takes you a little bit of time to get into it. In step 5, we're about to bring a piece of trauma into working memory. I want to really make sure that calm scene's working, because that is your active ingredient. Your calm scene is what's healing you, believe it or not, strangely. I want to make sure it's running before we bring a piece of trauma in. Okay? Now, step 5. Okay, step 5. After you've done 2 rounds, the first time you're in step 4, you do 2 rounds just to make sure it's running. And now step 5, now we're going to look at the memory lightning fast. So I say lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far away, let me know when it's gone. Lots of metaphors here. Hot skillet, right? Hot potato, those of you old enough to remember hot potato. What hot potato is, the moment it hits your hand, it must be moving away from you or you're about to be burned. Make sense? So we are not, any activation is the act of identifying it and sending it away are part of the same movement, right? It's like Karate Kid, right? It's like the moment we activate it, it's also pushing away, pushing away. We're pushing it away the moment we identify it. Okay? So, and now at the end of step 5, I say very quickly, think about the bad memory, catch it, contain it, send it far away, let me know when it's gone. And at the end of step 5, you know what we do? Load up your calm scene, let me know when you're there. We're back in step 4. We're in a 5-4 loop through most of the session. Lightly activate container, calm scene, blinks. Lightly activate container, calm scene, blinks. And what's going to happen is that clients are going like this real quick when we're first starting, and then it's taking longer. They're sending it away. It's taken now 2 seconds for them to see what's distressing and sending it away. And then it's like 6 seconds. And it's taking longer for them to send it away. And then at about 10 seconds, I'm going to say, hey, when you're having trouble finding what's distressing in the memory, let me know. And then we go to step 4. And you know what we do in step 4? We go to step 6. And in step 6, we start to play the video of the bad memory until you find the first piece of distress. Okay? Good. And when you find the first piece of distress, do you know what you do? You catch it, contain it, send it far away. And then after that, you know what you do? Calm, scene, blink. So now we're in a step 6, step 4 loop. We do our calm scene with blinks, or calm scene with numbers, or calm scene with doorknobs. I don't care. Do whatever it is, right? Digesting each piece of distress as we go along. So what we've kind of done in the earlier step 5, step 4 loop, if this is the memory, this piece came, that piece came, that piece came. This piece came 5 times in a row. And then that piece came, and then this piece that came 5 times in a row comes another time, 4 more times, right? And then that piece. And then it's taking longer and longer to find what's distressing in the memory. And then we go to step 6, where the client is just processing and moving along. We're trying not to leave debris in the memory. And just like in every good or bad horror movie, you think he's dead. And then behind the couch, he's still alive. So we catch it, contain it, send it far away. Does that make sense? Because 99% of the time there's debris, right? There's debris in step 6 catches it. Step 6 really so we're digesting each piece of distress, and then we're playing it forward, right? And you get to the end of the memory, you go back, you turn up the sensitivity again, and you play it again. And we're not done until you can play the whole memory with no distress on any channel. The whole memory, beginning to end, and there's no distress in thought, there's no distress in body, there's no distress in emotion, and there's no distress in that memory at all. Okay? And if you're not an EMDR therapist, yes, step 6 is, do we play it chronologically? If you have it accessible that way, it's the only time that I'm telling you where to focus and what order to focus on in the memory. We're just trying to make sure you walk through every piece of it that you have. Then when you get to the end of it, you go back and you run through it again to clean out every little piece of distress. Okay? When you can play the memory and there's no distress on any channel, again, see, y'all are getting this. Someone said it's similar to the recent event protocol. It exactly is. And in EMDR, the videotape approach, which is an intervention, comes from the recent event protocol. By the way, Shapiro wasn't the first person to suggest that walking through a memory frame by frame was a good way to look for residual distress, right? So there's really nothing new under the trauma sun. Does that make sense? So if you're right to see that there's something familiar going on here. And this version of the recent event protocol in Flash comes from Ricky Greenwald's version of Flash, where he does a very similar thing. Okay? So we're just making sure we're not cleaving any debris in the memory. When you get to the end of the memory and your client can play the memory from beginning to end, and there's no distress on any channel, that memory's done in Flash. And what happens then is that all parts of you experience that memory as over. From then, forever. It's done. It's over. And people were like, well, do we need to pick up that in EMDR? And so I'm like, no, that's what done means. Done means your nervous system has updated it and is no longer experiencing it. It can no longer experience it as though it's happening. Why? Because you've had an experience of it not happening. So in order to have a memory be updated so that it knows it's not happening, you have to have an experience of it not happening. That's how you do it. We heal across prediction error. We heal across experiential mismatch. And if you keep touching something and it shocks you with 24,000 volts every time, that is not going to be healing. Does it make sense? Your experience with it must be different than what's always kept you stuck with it. Okay, good. Okay, actually, why don't we do this? Let's take a few minute break because part of the feedback that I've gotten from other trainings is doing a whole 2 hour block is too much. Let's take like a 3 minute break, come back, and then we'll talk page 5. We'll talk about what I'm just convinced is what's going on here. And I can be wrong, but let me see if I can show you what we think is happening here. So 3 minutes, come back, and then we'll pick up again. All right, let's start in about 30 seconds. Okay, welcome back. Okay, what in the world's going on in this version of Flash, right? It almost seems like we're having them think about the memory really lightly, and it's almost like we're spinning them around and confusing them so they may not even know what the heck the memory was. That's not what we're doing. What are we doing in Flash is we're helping you heal from a little bitty tiny something experientially. Okay. And again, I'm just convinced, and I think most somatic therapists are convinced that we heal experientially, right? So let's think about it this way. First of all, the way that we've been thinking about what a brain is as therapists and as trauma therapists is very, very obsolete, right? It's just dated. So brainstem, limbic brain, neocortex, triune brain stuff comes from a guy that was born in 1912, right? Do you know what that means? That means that this model of the brain from the late 50s and 60s is a whole generation older than I am, and I have gray hair. And the evolutionary basis of triune brain, which is built on a very specific model of vertebrate evolution, we absolutely know is not true. From comparative genomics, from all you're not going to find a serious brain scientist who still believes the original McLean version of triune brain. The whole evolutionary basis that it's built upon is not true. Triune brain was really elegant at the time because it came along to replace keratological versions. Why is it that some soldiers are so weak that they break and others do just fine, right? Triune brain came along and said, wait a minute, this isn't about you. This is about a 150 million-year-old part of your brain that's running old software. Does that make sense? It's not about you. The problem is we don't have three brains that are competing with each other. We have one brain that is always on until you die, right? It is always changing. It is always updating, right? So from this newer perspective of the brain, you don't have one fight, flight, freeze system that runs through the amygdala. You don't. It was a great metaphor, but it's just not true. And I'm not saying that the part of the brain identified with the amygdala doesn't have a really important part in what the brain is doing. But what I'm saying is if we have a 150 million-year-old brain running a 150 million-year-old software, we are screwed. Does that make sense? I mean, I like the idea of a brain that is always changing and always on, and there's no doubt that you can heal. It's just the trauma parts are sticky. They're not meant to be updated unless we give them very salient sensory information and a reason to. Does that make sense? So what are we doing in Flash? I'm going to talk about like predictive brain in a moment. What are we doing in Flash? We're bringing a tiny piece of the memory into working memory. You push it out of your awareness. Okay, why do we do that? Because your brain has to make predictions about it. And what's the prediction I want it to make more than any other is that it's over. And how do we make your brain have that prediction? Is we give you the experience that it is. Does that make sense? Your brain is having an experience of it's in working memory. My brain is generating predictions about what's about to happen, and that's not happening. Do you know what's happening? Puppies, kittens, pizza, etc. Sensible? So this, anybody familiar with the like predictive processing framework or the idea of a predictive mind, the idea that our mind is always predicting, what is about to happen? So this is a model that is becoming the organizing model in many branches of neuroscience. And the model begins with this idea that we have in our minds a model of ourself and the world built from everything we've ever been through that informs almost everything. Does that make sense? So think about how weird this would be if this were a Taco Bell managers meeting. Does that make sense? You'd be like, what the heck? Who is this guy? What is he? Why are we not talking about sales figures? Why are we, it would make no sense. So everything that we've been through is allowing this to make sense. Okay? You have in your mind a construct for therapists and training and trauma and EMDR and now this tentative thing Flash, right? So we have in our minds a model of ourself in the world based on everything that we've been through. And what our brain does is it generates a massive stream of predictions from deep in our brain down toward our sensory structures that are guessing what's about to happen next. Okay? It's guessing, right? So if you're in this training and you're a therapist, every single word that I say makes sense because of what I'm about to tackle. Now, do you see how just prediction error occurred? Does it make sense? Because that word doesn't fit. Your brain was already constructing possibilities of what my next word was going to be before I said it. Okay. And then when prediction error occurs, error signals, you may have actually felt those error signals. What the heck? And you're like, oh, wait a minute. He's like talking about a new model of the brain. He just said Taco Bell man. He's like messing with us. He's like tricking me right now. Yeah. So predictions, your brain generates a large number of predictions, which go toward the sensory structures of your brain. And when our senses are recording things that don't match prediction, prediction error signals are returned deep into the brain so that our brain can update with either new predictions as one of two things. It either revises predictions or it updates that little piece of the model of the world that was wrong. Make sense? It updates what was wrong that caused the wrong cascade of predictions. So in this model, we've got your whole model of the world. And you bet if somebody's whole model of the world is trauma saturated, their predictions are going to be awful. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, in this flow of information from model of the world, prediction, sensory disconfirmation, and prediction error, there's another piece that we haven't talked about that's called precision weighting, right? Which is basically what is your brain giving importance to? Precision weighting is basically where unconsciously is your brain attaching importance so that it can make the decision that needs to be made accurately right here, right now. So precision weighting is basically the predictive brain's version of attention. And you know what we know about trauma? Is that the moment you get anywhere near trauma, our brain gives an enormous amount of weighting to the trauma. That's literally what a flashback is your brain giving all of the weighting to the trauma, and it's literally re-experiencing it in your body. Okay? So do you understand that from this model, what we have to work with when we have people whose whole models are built around trauma, the only thing we have to change any of this is disconfirming sensory information right here, right now. That's the main lever we have. So I'm going to say this a little bit differently about what Flash is doing, is that with Flash, we bring a tiny piece of the memory into working memory and we push it away. Do you know what happens when you bring a tiny piece of the memory into working memory does? Your brain must make predictions about it. And what predictions is your brain going to make about your father going, yeah? Do you know what I mean? Some of those predictions may be, oh, I don't like this content. This content's familiar, and it may generate some predictions of unsafety. Right? And then what are you experiencing? Puppies in the present moment, right? So any predictions of unsafety are met with a wall of disconfirming, safe, funny, engaging, hungry, pleasant body states and sensory states. Okay? And what we're hoping is that your brain, with that prediction error, is going to mark that little bitty tiny piece of the memory that you just brought into working memory as over. Do you know what a little bitty tiny piece of a bad memory is? It's not that evolutionarily important. In the context of a brain that contains everything, a little bitty tiny piece of a memory can change very easily if you give it the right type of present-based sensory disconfirmation. Okay? The whole schema can't, right? Whole schemas aren't meant to be updated easily, right? Individual tiny little bitty pieces of a memory are easy to change with the right type of sensory input. We just haven't done that because we've been dramatically overactivating when we've been accessing memory in the past. Does that make sense? We activate and then we flood and then we have a confirming experience. And our predictive brain is anticipating unsafety, and what's in our body? Unsafety. It's confirming, it's re-traumatizing, and then we learn even more deeply, this territory is volatile, radioactive for me. Okay, so can you see in Flash that we bring a tiny piece of the memory into working memory, and you're having an experience that is showing you, demonstrating somatically that it's over. Your brain marks it as over, or marks it mostly as over, and then the next piece, and then the next piece, and then the next piece, and that times 40. Okay? And then you process all of the debris in it, and then you immediately, by the end of it, experience that memory as though it happened at a particular place and time, and it is not happening right here, right now. Okay? So this is a top-level view of the mind. If you're interested in this, read Andy Clark's The Experience Machine. It's probably the best book on the predictive processing framework. Andy Clark, The Experience Machine. Follow me. I'm old, so I'm only on Facebook. So you know what I mean? I guess you can follow YouTube if you are on YouTube. But if you follow me, I'm going to be doing a book club again on Andy Clark's book. So we're going to redo that book club because it was such a helpful book to really get our mind around predictive processing. If you're a researcher and interested in this, I'm starting a predictive processing research nonprofit in Cleveland where we're going to research Flash through this lens. So if you're interested in doing research or you're interested in running a nonprofit, be in touch. Be in touch because I'm about to start a real cool adventure. So, okay, that's top level stuff. Bruce Ecker has been saying forever. He kind of looked at what was transformational in individual trauma therapies sessions, individual sessions. When a client had a eureka moment, he kind of looked at that. What are the elements that made that up? And then he looked at memory reconsolidation research, right? Which is a more specific version of this other research, right? It's very specific stuff that's been really going on since the year 2000. It's just exploded. Really core work in the year 2000. And Bruce Ecker's done all of this work to reach a remarkably basic thing that I'm just going to suggest you already knew was true, which is that if you want to help change really difficult stuck information, you need to activate a piece of it and then have the client immediately sit with an experience that disconfirms the expectation in the bad memory or the bad experience. I'm going to say this multiple ways because it's super important. If you want to update a bad experience, right, or a bad thing or a bad thought about yourself, load up a piece of it and then immediately have an experience that makes you feel and makes you believe something different than the learning in the trauma. Okay, so Bruce Ecker calls it juxtaposition, right? So we activate something and then have the client sit with something that is experientially different enough that it creates juxtaposition. Do you know what juxtaposition is? It's prediction error. Okay. By the way, you already believe prediction error can be healing. Do you know why? We don't have bats in our office and we just beat the crap out of our clients when they come in. Does that make sense? We're trying to hold them in their nervous system. We're trying to love them. And I know love them in the way that we do as therapists, right? We're trying to like hold them and love them in a way that is different than the wounding that they've had. That's prediction error. Does it make sense? Who here does parts work? Parts work is relational work, where parts of you have relational experiences with other parts of you that are disconfirming of the expectation in the bad memory. For many times in parts work, that's the first experiences people have of deep self-listening, right? Deep self-awareness, right? Self-compassion, slowing down and saying, yeah, I don't agree with the behaviors, but boy, it sure makes sense that you would come to want to protect me from that, right? So parts work is experiential work that works across prediction error. It provides new learning across prediction error. EMDR therapist, at the core of the AIP model, the difficult stuff connects with adaptive stuff. Remember that? Those of you that are EMDR therapists, you know what that is? That's prediction error. All day long. Difficult stuff connecting with adaptive stuff and the experience of it. Your clients in EMDR therapy, they're like, oh, I was just a child. Notice that. But we're like, I knew that, but they didn't. They're having the experience of that. That's prediction error. Okay. So what if that's how we heal? What if that's how we've always healed when we have healed? Even if you sit with at a little bitty tiny table and you're going through something really difficult and something has shifted with that friend that you were sitting with. Yeah. What happened is that you didn't just get information, you had an experience. Does that make sense? At that little table with that friend, you had an experience that shifted something. Prediction error. Yeah, another way to say it is corrective experience, right? And again, many of us may have had plenty corrective experiences relationally, but we still have all this trauma. Do you know why? Because you haven't activated a little piece of it and then had that corrective experience. And if you're like, wait a minute, we're getting a corrective experience from YouTube? That's not even real. Your predictive brain does not care. And would you like me to make the point that your brain doesn't distinguish? We do, our parts do, but our brain doesn't distinguish between happening external in the world and happening internally. Okay? Can you imagine I'm holding a bright yellow orange? Not orange, lemon. Bright, bright lemon. And then I cut it. Okay? And then I get half of it and I just squeeze it into my mouth. And I give you the other half and invite you to do what's happening for many of you. Like, what's happening, right? Are you having an experience that's not even real, but your body's responding in a certain way? Okay. So, yeah. Again, I'm trying not to quote van der Kolk for lots of reasons, but one of the most quoted lines in van der Kolk's The Body Keeps the Score is that in order to heal, we need to have experiences. Experiences, that word, like in italicized, experiences that deeply and viscerally contradict the helplessness, rage, collapse generated by the trauma. That's how we heal. Otherwise, it's confirming. Does that make sense? It's confirming. And even those of you that have done exposure therapies, healing doesn't happen until something about the nature of the exposure changes, meaning you acclimate to it a little bit and then it feels a little bit better. And then those disconfirmations add up and may result in a largely desensitized memory. But you've also had a client trauma dump on you 45 times with the same trauma, and it does not get better the 46th time. Do you know why? Because nothing different happened that created prediction error in the experience of the catharsis in telling you. Okay? So the catharsis matters. The experience that you have with the trauma matters. Okay? Good. Does this make sense conceptually? Because I know many of you probably came, it's like, Tom, can you just give me a tool? And I'm like giving you a whole new view of the mind. But isn't it reassuring? And again, I've taught triune brain forever. I've taught it. Mm-hmm. But I love the idea that we have a brain that's always changing, that's always on. So I don't even have to pretend that I believe you can change. I believe that what a brain is that it's always changing. But I understand that the trauma parts of it aren't meant to be updated easily without the right type of sensory disconfirmation. And if you activate too much of it, you're going to have flooding and you're not going to have that sensory disconfirmation. Yeah. I'm not sure what a shattered assumptions theory is, but it sounds a whole lot like prediction error to me. So, yeah, yeah. So, um, we're still mid-paradigm. We don't have good metaphors for predictive processing yet. We're trying to help develop them for therapy, for clinic purposes. But it's 2026. We can learn new things because the world contains them. Okay? And we don't have to keep teaching things because there's been a convenience in teaching it. And for goodness sakes, we should teach neuroscience of trauma in a way that modern neuroscientists would recognize. Yeah. Yes. Okay, we're going to get to target selection in a minute, but yes, this version of Flash, when you do it well, you get to the end of the memory, what you believe about yourself and the world changes. Your schema related to that memory changes. Why? Is it because Flash did that? No. Healing does that. Healing changes how you think about yourself in the world. Whether you do that in EMDR, whether you do that in Flash, whether you do that in any other transformational trauma therapy, healing updates how you think about yourself in the world, or we're not done. And you do Flash well, and you'll be done. Flash also generalizes. What does generalizing mean? It means I may have a target list with 5 targets on them, and I work on one of them, and now we don't have to do the other 4. Do you know why? Because the learning that happened in the resolution of that one also resolved the other 4 that we never have to touch consciously. Is it possible that EMDR therapy has broader generalization than Flash does? Yes, it does. Why? Because EMDR is slow enough to play the scene differently. It's slow enough for insight. I think about EMDR as being like this massive mower that you pull behind a tractor. It like clears out 22 feet. Okay? That's not why I'm doing Flash. I'm doing Flash to help you manage the catastrophe of the front lawn. Does that make sense? Flash is like the little push mower or the weed eater. Does that make sense? It's going to let you start somewhere. So it's not either do Flash or either do EMDR. No, let's do Flash while we're preparing your client to do deeper somatic work. Okay. But yes, Flash updates your beliefs about yourself and the world. So by the end of a memory, the memory will be experienced by all parts of you as over. Okay. It won't show up as flashbacks. It won't show up as bad dreams because it's going to be processed as over. Experienced by your nervous system as over. It's going to feel like a memory from 1979 is supposed to feel. Were you able to have digested it in 1979? It's almost like your brain has kept a little spot on the bookshelf all of this time for that memory, and boom, it finds itself there. And it will not ever IMAX into awareness the way it always has when you interacted with it in the past. Okay? So, yeah, appropriate or inappropriate clients for Flash. If your client cannot do what we're asking them to do, either in preparation or in Flash, we must stop and not continue. Flash works because your client is doing what you're able to ask them to do. EMDR works because your client is able to do what you're asking them to do. So you have to be able to do it. Categories of things that I don't like, let me put it this way. If your client is completely emotionally dead, if what's healing you is the disconfirmation of the pleasant scene and you're completely emotionally dead, you're not going to be able to activate and you're not going to be able to have pleasant disconfirmation. I'm also not likely to harm you. Do you know why? Because you can't activate. You're emotionally dead, right? And I'm not talking about people that don't like people. Do you know what I mean? I'm talking about people who you've never seen smile ever, who you've never seen feeling an emotion or irritation ever. Irritation is an emotion, right? Yeah. I don't mean necessarily alexithymia. Does that make sense? You don't have to be able to identify what you're feeling, right? And you don't have to be in your body enough to notice, right? So I also don't like Flash with pre-verbal trauma. Why? Because you don't have a memory to look at. I like EMDR better for pre-verbal trauma. You don't have a memory to look at quickly. All you have is body activation, right? So how do you look at a memory that you don't have quickly, right? Yeah. Yeah, you can use Flash. Flash plugs in almost anywhere that you might do any other type of trauma processing. Yeah. All right. Questions about the 6 steps? Are questions about working mechanism thoughts? All right. Let's jump a little bit forward. Many of you here are not EMDR therapists. If you are, you're welcome to read page 7 and 8. I'll talk briefly about page 8. When to use Flash, when to use EMDR, I don't care. I don't care. Those of you that do parts work, if your clients want to do parts work on a given day, do you care? If you have parts work in EMDR therapy, I'm like, I don't care. That's great. Thank you for letting me know how you want to work. Clients may say, look, I got to see my mom tonight. Maybe we do Flash because I don't want to be feeling all, how I get. Yeah. Or maybe we do EMDR because I've been sleeping really well and it may clear out more. I don't care. Right? Good. But I'm going to do Flash if you're not prepared to do EMDR because they require different things of you. Okay. Good. Container, page 9. And again, those of you that struggle visualizing, don't worry. I'm going to have an accommodation. Anybody here struggle visualizing? Good. I'm going to have, don't do the container. I'm going to have a separate resource for you in a minute. Right? And again, so many trauma therapies are completely dependent upon the capacity to visualize. 5 to 7% of people can't do that. And it's gaslighty to make them. Right? So you don't have to visualize to do Flash. Okay. Now, okay. Those of you that can visualize, can you imagine a box? It doesn't have to be huge. You know why? We're not containing the memory. We're not containing the memory. We're containing the little bitty tiny slice of it that just came out when you looked at it blindingly fast. And if what does come out is a London street bus that's sitting on your chest, I'm not using container, I'm using grounding. Sensible? Because a London street bus on your chest is very flashback-like. Okay, it's overactivation. And let me be very, very clear about what we're doing in Flash because it's really, really hard to understand this level of that we're trying to not activate. Okay, so if activation is coming and it is 1/50th of an ounce big, it needs to be moving away from you. Okay, we do not push into activation. We do not push into distress. If distress is coming, it must be moving away from you in Flash. Why? Because if it's hanging out in your body, your brain isn't going to conclude that it's over because it's not. It's happening in your viscera right here, right now. That doesn't mean your clients have to be calm. They may have a baseline anxiety that's 9 out of 10. I don't care about that in Flash. Do you know what I care about? I cared about what just got worse when you think about that memory. That's what we're containing. That's what we're sending away. Isn't that good news that your clients don't have to be relaxed for them to heal? But what we're containing is what just got worse when you looked at that memory. And if what got worse, only that much, no, that needs to be moving away from you using one of the 4 resources that we have in Flash. If this isn't largely painless, we stop until it is. Do you know what that means? Target selection matters. Can I start with the bit? No. Why would you? Has anybody here bought a new car and immediately taken it to the interstate to see how fast it can possibly go? There's somebody here who's done that. Somebody. Jessica, would you do that with your client driving? And if you wouldn't do that with your client driving, don't start with first or worst in Flash. Because your clients, I just described what Flash is. You have to look at the memory so quickly that you can barely activate it. You got to practice that with them. You got to practice that with something really, really small. It's like what you do you ever teach someone how to catch? You have to show them how to cup their hands, and then you throw the ball into their hands. You don't have a Major League Baseball player throw a line drive at them. You don't do that. Does that make sense? No. So let's show you how to catch. So what's a small memory? Does anybody here live with a knucklehead? Do you have a teen in your house that you love? But my goodness, why can't they take their shoes off and not track muddy snow all over your kitchen for the 97th time today? Right? So maybe that's a good place to start, right? We start here and we ooch up, right? I've never been line dancing, but if I did today, I'd bump into people. And you know what would happen next time? That'd be better. And the next time that'd be better. And the next time it would mostly be a body movement. By the time we get to big stuff, we want them to be able to catch these balls that are thrown fast at them. Make sense? Okay. Now, the container, let's say this multiple times, the container does not contain the memory. Your brain contains the memory. The container contains a little bitty tiny piece of the memory that just came out when you looked at the memory quickly. That little piece of the memory is not equivalent to the memory. It's a little piece of it. Okay? There's more and more and more. We're going to get to it. But each time we get, this is what we're containing, little bitty tiny piece of it. Okay? And then your container doesn't have to be massive because it's just holding a little bitty something. So do you have a box that feels like it would be compatible with that? Your box doesn't have to be the size of the Superdome. That's not what we're containing. We're grounding. So if you have a box in your mind, imagine it. Don't make it your grandmother's ballerina jewelry box. We're putting junk in it. You know what I mean? Don't. Cardboard's fine, right? Do you have something that works? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumb sideways, thumbs down, except for those of you that can't visualize. If you can't visualize, I have an accommodation for in a moment for this. Good. Good. Can you spin it around in your awareness? Notice what how it's made, its colors, its weight, its whatever. Awesome. Can you notice how it opens and closes? Can you imagine a little blank Post-it note going into that container and closing it? And does it feel like that Post-it note's in there? Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. How are y'all doing? Doing all right? Most people doing all right. Good. That container with that Post-it note in it. Now, here's the hard part. Can you magically, and this requires suspending every rule of physics, can you really quickly get it, send it away, rush straight through your wall, straight out of the atmosphere, past the moon, past all the planets, past the object formerly known as the planet Pluto? Gone. Do you feel the distance between you and that container? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Okay, good. We're checking to make sure the container can contain, and we're making sure that whatever you put in there is going to be able to be far enough away to where when we go in your calm scene, it's not going to junk up your calm scene. Sensible? Okay. Now, we never bring the container back. A brand new empty container comes every time we need one. Okay. And we send that, whatever it is, away. We send it far, far away. And why do we, it feels like that's avoidance, isn't it? It's not. From a predictive mind point of view, you just brought it into working memory. You pushed it out of awareness. It hangs out in working memory for a while. You don't have to be staring at it for your brain to keep making predictions about it. And then they're getting 6 back-to-back experiences that's showing it's over. Okay. By the way, if there's a little bit of distress that remains in that piece of the memory, don't worry, your brain knows what to do. You don't ever have to bring the container back. It's going to show up back over here because that's how brains work. And if you have a piece of memory, you send it away, and it was a 9 out of 10 suds, we're not checking the suds. I'm going to explain why. But it was really, really distressing, and now it's a 4. Don't worry, that 4 finds its way back into the memory every time. And it's going to show up in subsequent checks, or it's going to show up in your video. So a brand new empty container comes every time. You don't have to ever bring the container back. We're always getting distress out of the memory itself, never from a container. Okay? Good. Those of you that struggle visualizing, I have in my office 50 bean bags, multicolored, that sit in a wicker basket. Okay, I dump them out on the little table between me and the client, and the wicker basket goes across the room. In Flash, they pick up a beanbag, they throw it in the air, and they catch it, and they only think about the memory when the beanbag is in the air. When the beanbag is in the air, only do you think about the memory, and then whatever is distressing on any channel gets put in the beanbag, and you throw it across the room toward the basket. Do you know what we've just done? Microactivate, contain. And you don't have to know what it is. It's just, even if it's just, that is in the beanbag moving away from you. Okay. Other things you can do are just this. Even this sends the message. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not trying to make sense of it, connect to it, etc. Okay. Good. Questions about the container? Would that accommodation work? And if you're like, Tom, I don't have 50 bean bags, do you have a piece of paper near you? Can you get that piece of paper and rip it into strips, and then rip the strips into cubes, and then fold up the cubes? And you know what you've got? You got a little ball of paper. And you know what you can do? If you work through telehealth, you can do this. Your clients can do this. You know what you do? You catch it, you grab it, and you throw it across the room. And you don't even care because they're not even junking up your office. Okay? And then they go get them all. They put them in a little solo cup, and then they have their little balls for the next session. Okay? So that's one strategy of outsourcing containment to something more concrete that is not nearly as dependent. Yeah. It's fine because they process the trauma, and whatever it is, those little pieces of paper, all they are is pieces of paper after the trauma is processed. Yeah. Flash, keep coming back because I'm going to work with you endlessly and for free until your clients are processing whatever they target 95% of the time in a single session. If you have most of a session to do Flash, your clients will resolve. After you've done this a dozen or so times, your clients will process whatever they target, assuming you're starting small and working bigger, assuming you've like oriented them to them. But by the fifth or sixth session, you're working on big stuff, and they're resolving whatever they target almost every time, 19 out of 20 times in a single session. Completely. That sounds like an amazing tool. Do you see why I do these trainings on a Sunday for free? Do you know what I mean? If it's true, oh my gosh. So if you're not seeing that, come back, come to the consultations. I do free consultations twice a month. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. All right. Shop vac. Anybody here use the vacuum cleaner? You've never used the vacuum cleaner. Have you used the dust buster? Have you dropped coins into a car wash vacuum cleaner? Have you ever seen somebody else use a vacuum cleaner? Okay. So those of you that have the construct of a hose with a strong vacuum, right? Can you get in touch with that construct in your mind? Can you like load it up? And yes, some people have surgery trauma where suction's used and we can't use a vacuum. Some people may have been very, very punished in their childhood with chores and cleaning, and a vacuum may make you nauseous. Just looking at it may make you not well. So we're going to talk about accommodations for the shop vac. But for those of you that have a construct that works, can you turn it on? Can you turn your vacuum on and just notice that powerful suction? And if you can, scan your body and find any place of residual distress. Don't find pain. Do not vacuum pain. But if you can find a little bit of fluttering or a little bit of anxiety in your body, get that hose and just vacuum it out and see if you can see it leave your body like a kind of colored smoke going into that hose. You don't have to get it all, just try to get as much as you can. Okay? Were you able to get some of it? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Okay, good. We need a strategy to get distress out of the body quickly because we want your nervous system to look at the body and not find the trauma happening there. Okay, so other things you can do with your hands, those of you that find a little bit of anxiety in your body, can you use your hands like just like a scoop and then just scoop it up and send it away? Right? Can you try that? Scoop it up and send it away. And did it feel like something left, even if it was a little bit? You can also get up and wiggle. You know what I mean? Sometimes just getting up and wiggle causes things to shift in the body a little bit. You can breathe it out. You can ground. But my point is that if you have distress in your body from that memory, you have a problem in Flash. And we must use a resource for that. Yeah. What's the accommodation for pain? If you have pain in your body, that is not from that memory. Does that make sense? We
Yeah.
subtract that out. Yeah. Questions? All right. Yes, I mean physical pain. I mean physical pain, not emotional pain. Yes. Backache, pulled muscle pain. Yeah. Good. Do you have shop vac or an appropriate accommodation? Okay, good. Calm scene. I'm going to go refill my drink. I'm going to give you 90 seconds, and I know ads are annoying, but rockets are like super expensive for people to buy. So we got to pay for all these billionaires and their freaking hobbies, right? So, and again, YouTube makes money for it. So I don't know what to do about the ads. We're just going to live with the ads today. Okay. But find on YouTube something that just makes you laugh out loud. You just can't help yourself. Find it or find a beautiful scene. 100 national parks of the world. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Banff. Am I saying that right? Those anybody here from Canada? Banff, is it Banff? Oh my gosh, that's so freaking beautiful. I want to live there, but only in the summers. Right? So, 90 seconds. Find something on YouTube that's going to be your calm, engaging scene. All right. How did that go? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Remember the calm scene. Again, pleasant scene, engaging scene, beautiful scene, distracting scene, whatever. If it gets boring, you have to switch it. Okay, switch it. Because remember, it's experience of the pleasant scene that's healing you. It's generating the prediction error. Okay. And if you get into it and you find that your pleasant scene and your bad memory are intersecting, you have to change the pleasant scene. Okay. Excellent. Again, you can use a dog, right? You can use a dog. You can use, yeah, you can use anything. You can use a musical instrument. You can use a sandwich. Did you know that some people can heal from trauma using a sandwich? What the heck? Okay. Good. We've already covered sensory grounding. I want to do it again because it's just an essential trauma skill. Because the present, man, if you're having a flashback, there's really nowhere else to go but to the present. Um, so again, um, good sensory grounding. Do you have everything you need for it? Okay, good. All right, good. Several people have joined, and I'm noticing it's on the hour. The people that have just joined, if you're here, there's another one of these trainings starting in 2 hours. I just want to make sure you're not 2 hours early. For people that just joined, if you're just joining fresh, we've been doing this for 2 hours, but there's another flash training right after this, 2 hours from now. And those of you that want to come back and do this again, I'm doing it again in 2 hours. You can use the same Zoom code to get in. So we could do it again if you want another reboot. I'm also doing one Tuesday night. I'm doing one, I think, yeah, I'm doing them all the time. Doing it all the time because the world just got crazy. Well, the world's been crazy, but it just got crazier. So, all right, sensory grounding. Good. I invite you to look around your current room. Notice whatever you see. And notice if you were to touch each object, would it be hard or soft or some other texture? Okay, good. If you have a piece of furniture near you, just touch it and notice, is it warmer, cooler, or the same temperature as your hand? Good. I'm going to be very quiet. Notice whatever you hear in order of loudest first. Good. If you have something near you that has a smell, feel free to engage in that. And if you have something near you that has a taste, feel free to engage in that. Okay, good. How did that go? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. If it went okay, which of those resources was the most anchoring for you today? Because if you need it, that's the one I want you to start with. Okay, good. All right, page 14. Select the memory, but do not activate it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Start with very small things first. You need your clients to become kind of a flash ninja before they get to the big stuff. They have to be able to be really good at micro activation, catching it, contain it before you get to the big stuff. Okay? Select the memory, but do not activate it. Step 4, load up your calm scene, and we're going to blink, or I'm going to give you a number. So here's what we do. Step 4, do you have a piece of paper near you? You have paper and pen. And on that piece of paper, can you randomly write the numbers from 0 to 9? Anywhere on there. but mix them up randomly 0 to 9. Okay. And while you're at it, if you think you're going to get bored with that piece, get another piece and do it again. Just put them in different places so that if you're like, I'm going to know where the 3 is and I want to like look for it, so that you can mix it up a little bit. You can switch between different versions of this sheet if you want. Good. If you have number trauma, some people do. I probably do, but I'm okay with whole numbers. It's fractions that mess with me, right? So again, what happened to self-esteem for many of us? Third grade math, right? So if integers or numbers are really triggering for you, when I say the number, you can just look at a doorknob. You don't have to look at the numbers. You look away, look at a doorknob, and then turn back. That's all you have to do. Okay. Or you can blink a couple of times quickly, and that also works. Okay. Good. And if you have vision impairment and you're listening to music, you don't have to do anything with your eyes. You know what you can do? Just clap a couple of times. That is a motor movement that will disrupt your listening to the music. And then you just close your eyes, go right back into listening to music, right? So there's accommodations for everything here, it seems like. So again, I'm going to say when we do this exercise together, I'm going to say, when we get to step 4, I'm going to say very quickly, load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. And then when you're there, we're going to wait about 5 seconds. And then I'm going to say 4. And then you turn your head, look at the 4 on that sheet, and look right back at your video. Or if you're petting your dog or your cat, I say 4, you just stop petting, you look at the 4, you go right back to petting. 5 seconds pass, I say a different number. 5 seconds pass, different number. 5 seconds pass, different number. Go back into your calm scene. I'm going to say, how did that go? You give me a thumbs up, thumbs sideways, whatever, to let me know how you're doing. And then we do it again. We do 2 rounds in the calm scene. And then after that, we're going to be in step 5. Where I'm going to be like, are y'all ready? That quick. That quick's how we're going to look at that memory. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing. Use your hands, catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. And we're going to do our calm scene with numbers. And then we're going to look at the memory again, catch it, contain it. I want you to use your hand. I want you to use your hand to send it away unless your hand's broken. Does that make sense? Unless you got a bad wrist or a bad whatever and you just can't move it, then I want you to send it away. And if you can't move your hand, I want you to move your head. Throw it away with your awareness. I want it to be moving away from you. Okay? We're going to do this for about 30 minutes. That's not enough for many of you. That's why let me put it this way. I really, really, really want you to try to start with something small. You have it. Do you have a boss? Do you have a coworker that just whatever? Do you have a teen in your house? Do you have a neighbor? Right? If there's something somewhere that's reasonably small, please, in this practice, we're all beginners. Don't reach in and grab a monster and think that this is going to go well. It is not going to go well. And it's Sunday. Many of you got to go to work tomorrow. Some of you are probably going to work tonight. You know what I mean? No. Find something reasonable to start with. Sensible? So that if this doesn't work, you're not having a big spin out about it. So what I want you to do is we're going to do this loop until it's getting really, really hard for you to find what's distressing. And then you're all going to arrive there at a different time. You're going to need to start playing the video of it from beginning to end. And then catch the first piece and send it away. And then you're going to do your calm scene blinks and calm scene numbers. You're going to come back. That piece of the memory, is there any distress in it? No, play it forward. Find the next piece and digest it until it's all gone. You get to the end of the memory, you're not done. Go back, play it again. and find any pieces of debris that you've left in it. Okay? Sensible? Good. And that's when you're done. You're not done when you look at the memory and you can't find distress. You're done when you can play the whole thing, every single frame, every single piece of it, and there's no distress on any channel. Many of you, there's just not time for us to get there. Okay? Because we don't have time in the training to do that. Why don't we take let's take about a 4-minute break now. Again, question in chat. I'm not telling you what order to access the memory in. You're looking at the memory and whatever piece comes out, that's what you're containing. I'm not telling you in the regular 5/4 loop what piece should come out. I am telling you in step 6 to walk through it chronologically. Right? Yeah. Yep. Good question. All right, take your break. Come back in 4 minutes and we'll get started. All right. Good. Welcome back. All right. Good. Ongoing trauma. We have to do healing even in the presence of ongoing trauma. Otherwise, there would never be a point in ever working with a child. Does it make sense? Or why would we ever try to treat racial trauma when in fact, you know, it's actually working on what's happened that may help your nervous system better prepare for the awfulness that's yet to come. Right? So that's just an unfortunate part of the human condition, or at least the way we have things set up, is that we can't wait for trauma to be over to start to work on it. And if you work with kids, they need to heal, because if they don't heal, they may not launch as young adults in the world. Right? So we have to like, even though we're sending them back to the context, even though many of you are still in the context that is not safe, we still have to find little enclaves of safety to do this work. And I'm telling you, healing yourself may be one of the only truly revolutionary things that an individual can do that isn't going to get you in some kind of trouble, right? It's one of the deeply, deeply revolutionary things that you can do as a human being, that you're allowed to do. So do it. And other things, but do that. For goodness sakes, do that. So, okay, safety. You've guessed it. You know where this is going to go bad. Overactivation. It's going to go bad in overactivation. If you overactivate, that is inevitable, but it's also a problem for the reasons we've talked about, right? It's a problem, but it's also okay. Why? Because you have four resources to deal with that overactivation. Overactivation is also information. And you know what it means? It means you looked at the memory too long. And I don't want you to overactivate, have to ground, overactivate, have to ground, overactivate, have to ground. No, if you overactivate, you deal with that resource using grounding and whatever. And the next time you look at the memory, look at it 100 times faster. And if you overactivate that, that may be a memory that doesn't want to be microactivated today. You may need to find one that does. So if you can't microactivate a memory, find one that you can. Because if you're pulling the emergency brake every single time we do this, Flash is not only is it not working, you may be causing real harm. So do you know what happens? If you push into the stress unchecked in Flash, it's really unfortunate. Because you know what may happen? If you didn't listen to anything I said and you thought I'm just going to push, push, push into this and I'm going to ignore the distress, your predictive mind may reach the conclusion that all of this is trauma, including your calm scene, and you just paired your calm scene with the trauma. You just made golden retrievers a trauma trigger for that memory. One of the only things in the world that doesn't suck, we just made it a trauma trigger. That doesn't happen if you don't overactivate consistently. If you keep doing this thinking it's EMDR or thinking it's exposure therapy, your client's going to get hurt. Okay? So if the stress is coming, stop. That's information. Look at the memory 100 times faster next time. And if you can't do that, switch memories to something smaller. Okay? Good. Problems with containment almost always float back to problems of overactivation. This is easy to contain. Does that make sense? A London street bus is not. The problem with containment is almost always a problem of overactivation. Okay, good. When I ask you to check and make sure that all parts of you are okay with working on this memory, that is a serious, legitimate request. Does that make sense? Check. This version of Flash is parts focused. We do not make your parts do work that they didn't consent to do because they're going to win. Does that make sense? No, we don't. We want all parts of you. And then find a memory that all parts of you will consent to working on in this way. Let me give an example. Suppose you've come here and I've trained you in a way to process trauma without distress. Do you think you have some memories that you would not want to resolve if you couldn't get mad about it? If you couldn't, really, really feel it in your viscera, that is not the memory to process today. Find one that's gross, that you just want to be done with. Does that make sense? That you don't feel like you need to have in your viscera. Make sense? Good. Okay, we work one memory at a time in this version of Flash. Why? Because it's built for people with complex trauma. If you let 2 in, that same door will let 27 in. And I don't care that you're amazing and you're remarkable. We are here to process one memory. Does that make sense? I want to show you. And if you're like, I'm still going to do 9, you're learning how to do 1. So come and do 1, right? Do 1. If we have time, you can do 2 back to back, but do 1 at a time. Make sense? We are not trying to solve the whole theme. We're not resolving multiple events. We're only working on 1. Okay? Good. Questions? Any questions related to safety? We have a safety sheet in the very back of your program. That starts on page, give me a second, starts on page 29. Safety sheet. If you're having a problem, it's probably addressed there. You can also message me. You can message me in chat privately or publicly, and I can keep doing the numbers and I can respond. I'll have to click, click, click away. Please, when I'm guiding the group, do not ask me a client question, right? I'm really focused on everybody's safety. Does that make sense? So don't ask a question about something you don't understand. Watch what other people are doing if you're not doing this exercise. Good. We're going to do this for 30 minutes, which will take us until 51 after, about 51, 52 after. And that's going to give us a little bit of time to debrief. And I can stay a little later if y'all can, right? But I have another one of these right after, right? Because 400 people signed up for this one and 400 people signed up for the one later. So that's awesome, isn't it? So I can't stay terribly long, but I can stay some. Okay. And I really want to make sure you have everything that you need to learn more and do this. This is just the beginning. Just the beginning. Y'all are going to be Flash ninjas. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Do you have your calm scene videos ready? And do you have your sheet of numbers? How are you? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down? Do you have everything you need to do this? Good. What we're going to do is we'll do 2 rounds in the calm scene with numbers, and then I'm going to have you select the memory. We're going to select the memory after we do our calm scene with numbers. And then we're going to do another round of calm scene with numbers, and then we're going to go. We're going to be hot potatoing, micro slicing, the thinnest deli slice that deli slicer can cut of that trauma. That's what we're going to do. Okay, good. Load up your calm scene and just let me know when you're there. Give me a nod, give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Just be in it. And again, you can change it at any time for any reason. Awesome. Good. 2, find the number 2, and then go right back into your video. 6, 4, 9, and 0. Okay, good. How'd that go? You able to find your way into the calm scene even though I kept pulling you out of it? Awesome. Excellent. I love the dog. I love the dog. Love us some doggies. Awesome. Good. Excellent. Cat too. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Beautiful. Calm scene. Just be in your calm scene. Good. 7, 8, 0, 2, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. All right. Is there a memory you thought you wanted to work on today? You'd like to work on today? Is it an individual memory that happened at a particular place and time? And do all parts of you think working on that memory is a good idea today? Check. If you get a wave of anxiety, that's a no. Check. And if so, send it away. Look at a blank wall if you need to. And then when it's gone, calm scene. Use your resources if you need to. Again, I want to see more people using their hands. Send it away. Send it away when it's gone. Your video can play the whole time if you like. I can talk right over it. Okay, good. 9, 6, 8, 3, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? Go okay? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. How are y'all doing? Okay, good. If you are struggling, make sure that you have a plan using one of your resources to deal with that. Don't push into distress. Okay, awesome. All right, are you ready to get going? Blindingly fast. As a matter of fact, it's better to not know what you're getting than to get too much. Lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Use your resource if you need to. Get out of sync with me if you need to. Good. Good. 4, 6, 8, 2, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? How are y'all doing? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Really quickly check your body. Make sure that no part of that memory is hanging out in your body. If it's hanging out in your body, send it far away, vacuum it out, do whatever you need to do to wiggle away from it, get away from it. Good. If you found distress in your body and you vacuumed it out or moved it away, skip the next round of activation. That's your activation. Okay. Good. If you didn't find distress in your body, lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing, catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Good. Just be in your calm scene. Everybody be in your calm scene. 2, 1, 9, 3, and 6. Okay, good. How'd that go? How are you doing? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Good. If you're struggling, message me. Okay, good. Everybody else, lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 3, 0, 9, 1, and 5. Okay, good. How did that go? Okay, good. How are you doing? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Doing all right? If you're struggling, do you have a plan to deal with it? Right? Including messaging me. Yeah. Yeah. If you need a little bit more time in something, get out of sync with me. That's okay. If you're using a resource, you're going to be out of sync with me. You're not going to be in sync with me 100% of the time. And that's okay. Okay. If you need a little bit more time to find what's distressing, take it. Get out of sync with me and then come back in. Yeah, awesome. Good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Just really be in your calm scene. 6, 3, 9, 8, and 2. Okay, good. How did that go? Okay, good. Just to be clear, if you're looking at the numbers, that is a substitute to the blinking. Okay? You're not blinking and looking at the numbers. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. Good, lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 0, 2, 9, 6, and 3. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 8, 2, 9, 6, zero, and 0. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it billions of miles away. When it's gone, calm scene. 6, 8, 3, 9, and 7. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, doing all right. Okay, good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 0, 3, 5, 8, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? Good. Now's probably a good time to check your body. Make sure that memory's not hanging out in your body. It's hanging out in your body, vacuum it out, send the shop vac canister away. If you found distress, skip the next round of activation and come in when I say calm scene. Everybody else, lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Zero, 9, 3, 0, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? You're doing okay? Excellent, good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 3, 2, 5, 9, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. If you're pretty much at the end of the memory, meaning you can't really find what's distressing in it, make sure you play the video. You're not done until you process every little bit of distress in the video. Most of you aren't there, meaning there's still more distress to notice, and we may not even be able to digest all of that in the next 10 minutes, and that's okay, right? So let's keep going. Okay, good. Use your resources if you need to. Do not push into distress. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 2, 6, 1, 4, and 7. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, excellent. Good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 0, 2, 5, and 3. Okay, good. How'd that go? Doing all right? Good. All right, we got about another 8 minutes. We're just going to keep going, probably about another 10 rounds. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 2, 1, 8, 6, and 0. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Good. Just be in your calm scene. It's your calm scene that's doing the work. 0, 2, 6, 9, and 3. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay. Excellent. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Okay. 0, 9, 3, and 6. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Good. Yes, hang out in your calm scene. And if you're struggling, stop. Just hang out in your calm scene. Or in the last little bit, let your calm scene kind of relax you. Don't have to stress now. Okay, good. 2, 8, 3, 6, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. 3 more rounds, lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 2, 8, 9, 8, and 0. Okay, good. How'd that go? Good. Are you all doing okay? Good. Another couple rounds, really quickly. Maybe it's, yeah, 2 more rounds. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it away. When it's gone, calm scene. 3, 6, 8, 3, 4, and 9. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. How are you doing? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. You doing okay? Okay. If you're struggling, use your resources, right? Trauma work, we need to do some type of closure. I know you have 4 resources. You've used them. Use them, right? Use them to take care of yourself. Good. How does, so all right, so how does Flash feel as the client? Feel free to unmute. What questions, what comments do you have? It is very, very different than what you've probably done before if you haven't done Flash. Yes, Jess.
Do you typically use like the numbers on the paper
I
with
have
your
been.
with your
Yeah,
clients? I
I
like that
have been.
idea. It
I have
makes
been.
it really
Yeah,
resonates with me. Just curious.
yeah,
Okay.
I have been. And again, you don't have to use numbers. You can use colors. You can
Okay.
use objects in the room. You can do I
Hmm.
spy. I spy a whiteboard. You know what I mean? You could do like, you could do what you could do all kinds of things. You can do animals. You can do whatever. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah. Eliza.
I was finding that even with a kind of small memory, to jog my memory enough to get at all activated took a while.
Mhm.
So it's hard to think about how to do the like because I'm not activated at all, and then I have to think through like a couple sentences before I can get there, and
Yeah.
then I'm a little more activated than I mean to
Yeah.
be all of a sudden.
That's okay. What often happens is that in the beginning, there is a little bit of overactivation. Does it make sense? There is. And then after that, we're just kind of like, oh crap, there's that piece. And then, oh crap, there's that piece. And then, you know what I mean? So this, nobody does flash perfectly the first round. It's just too non-intuitive. And again, we're not, so this is a practice and we need to practice and our clients need to practice. And I have clients who have never in their life had a trauma experience that wasn't awful. Every client I've had, we found ways to microactivate. Does that make it? Just takes time. It takes patience. It takes sometimes some parts exploration, right? Because again, if parts of you don't want this to come small, it's not going to. Plus, some memories, we don't, a lot of people don't feel anything small. You know what I mean? So, and trauma is not meant to be felt small. So we are kind of like, again, non-intuitive is a very good description of this. Yeah, Kristen. I can't hear you. You're unmuted, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things that I was noticing is as I'm in my calm place, I kept kind of thinking about like, okay, what's the next part of this memory I'm going to think
Yeah.
about? And I think that kept kind of pulling me back.
Yeah.
I'm guessing because it's the first time we did it, but that was what I noticed is that I just
Absolutely. And what
distracted.
I might do is a little parts interweave. I
Mm,
might say, it sounds like there's a part of you that's really, really curious about what's about to come next. And
okay.
I'm wondering if that part, if it would be okay, I'm asking. And if it says no, that's okay. But I'm asking that part, would it be okay for it to be really curious about what's about to happen in your calm scene instead? Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
it
And if
does.
it says no, 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 yeah, then what that may also mean is that you may need a more engaging calm scene. You made something that's like much more engaging. So people with ADHD generally beach
Yeah,
scenes, and I don't know if you have ADHD, I'm just
I
saying,
do.
but people with ADHD, we don't use a beach scene because you're going to be tired by the fourth wave. You're going to be bored of it by the fourth wave
That
that
makes
comes
sense.
in. So we
Yep.
need really find something. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. I'm putting a link in chat really quickly because ironically, 7 months ago, I was invited to go to Minneapolis area to do a 6-hour flash training for St. Thomas's PTSD conference. So if you want a deeper dive into this, there are seats in that training, right? You're welcome to come. I believe it's on a Monday in the beginning of March. So I'd love to see you all in person. There's a lot more practice and there's more time to like talk about. So we get to practice group. We get to do breakouts individual where you do that. And yeah, you can be an observer if you want, right? And then we practice individual like self-administered flash. So if you're available, if you're in the area and you're available, come there. The yeah. Yeah. Is the calm scene for some people a puzzle? Absolutely. For some people, your calm scene can be a video game that you just pause. Does that make sense? It can be a video game that you pause. It can be, if you really want to do something, you can make a little book where all the numbers, each time you do it, you just turn the page on the number, on the book of numbers, and then you've got to hunt for it. Some people like that. Some people like to hunt for where that number is and then quickly get back in. So there are many ways to, yeah, you can do movement. You can do flash dancing. You can do flash dancing. We've done this at the Dancing Mindfulness Retreat. How do you do it? You dance, and then when I say you get off screen if you want to, I don't care, be on screen. You're just dancing to your favorite music. And then when I say a number, you know what you can do? You just stop and do a little hop in the air and then go right back into your dancing. Even that is a motor movement that's disrupting your calm scene. Yeah. You can stop and look at the numbers if you want. You can do anything that just stop dancing for a moment and then go right back in. That generates a new experience. Okay, good. You can do flash on a walk, not you and not y'all outside right now, but in a much safer feeling world in a beautiful park in the winter, you probably can. You know what I mean? You can do flash outdoors, you can do flash on a treadmill, watching a YouTube video. You can do flash on your couch petting a puppy. Good. You can do it during yoga. I can't. Do you know why? Because I haven't done yoga in 10 years. I went to a yoga class last year. It was like 95 degrees in there and almost got sick all over everybody. So that would not be, that is not, I got to get back. I got to get back into this before I do try to use yoga flash. But flash turns any resource into a transformational trauma therapy. Those are Flash is going to be huge in equestrian trauma work. I guarantee you. Oh my goodness. Can you see it? Can you like see how that would be amazing? You're just blinking, petting a horse. Yeah, Paul.
Just a quick question on the accessing of the memory, the slice of the memory. After they do a series of those exercises, the steps three and five, or four and five, and they complete a series, are they adding on to that to another memory or a new slice of the memory? Or are they keeping with the same memory?
We'll work one memory at a time, but you want to clean out all aspects of that memory. So the videotape step 6 lets you do that, but we really want to work one memory at a time because really complex trauma brains, if you let 2 memories in, 5 will come, 27 will come, and it's not going to go well, right? We picked one memory as our target. We want to try to resolve that.
And that's a slice of that memory, correct? It's just
We're working one slice at a time with the goal over a whole session to resolve a whole memory.
Got it. Thank you.
We're not only working just one slice, but we're working with one slice at a time so that hopefully all of the slices in the memory find resolution in the session. Yeah. Self-administered is in the chat. Yes. I mean, it's in the treatment guide. You can do this. I have an MP3 that'll walk you through it. I'm about to do more with numbers and more for people who need a little bit more time with task switching. I want to be really clear. ADHD brains and autistic brains, any type of neurodivergent brains, generally do pretty good in Flash, but we need to understand that task switching, rapid task switching, may be hard for them. Okay, so when we're working individually, I can't do this. I can't do this in the group, but when we're working individually, I'm giving you time. Load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. Okay, good. Blink. Get all the way done. Good. How did that go? Good. Really quickly, think about the bad memory, catch it, contain it, send it far away. Let me know when it's gone. Time, right? Load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. So I can match your pace. I can match your pace if we're working individually. In a group, some people it's going to be too slow. Some people it's going to be too fast. That's the problem with groups. Yeah. If the slices are non-chronological and we get maybe 60% of that memory in one session, what would happen for the client with that memory if they didn't come back to it? I would say a 60% processed memory is way better than 100% not processed memory. So that's still good, but we want to come back and clean it out because really good things come from that memory fully resolving. Again, once you do Flash well and you have enough time in session, Your clients in this version of Flash are going to resolve memories the vast majority of the time in a single session. And if they're not, something is off or you're working way too big too soon. Right? So come back. I'll help you figure out how to do this optimally for your clients. But it's just not controversial for me to say Flash resolves things 19 out of 20 times in a single session. I've been seeing it for nearly 5 years now with really serious, no joke trauma with clients with DID or on the DID end of the spectrum. So, yes. So, good. How do you close out a Flash session if the memory isn't cleared? This sounds like a question from an EMDR therapist. In EMDR, we largely dump the whole memory into working memory. So you're left with debris. Does that make sense? You're left with activation that we have to proactively do something with. I've kept your activation here the whole time. You don't have a bunch of stuff in your viscera or in your body that might spread embers. So while I'll say that EMDR might spread embers in your nervous system, Flash done well doesn't tend to. Your clients don't tend to have heartburn after it because we never activated you to begin with. Does that make sense? We really kept activation really, really small. Much smaller than if you told me about it. Okay? Good. Questions? So how do we close out? You have 4 resources. Use them. If this should happen to open up difficult stuff, let me know. I'll help you close it. Right? I'm also reminding you, we can't work on everything all at once. In no way of doing trauma do we work on everything all at once. We have to work a little piece at a time, and your parts may need to be okay with like keeping everything else where it is, and we're going to work on this piece, and then that piece, and then that piece. Okay, good. I'm going to send the video around as soon as it's done. I'm also okay to keep answering questions. I'm also going to send in the debrief email, there's going to be the link to the YouTube video for this training. There's going to be a link to the free Flash consultations you can come to. I also, please take me up on this, please. You'll need to heal too. And you don't need to spend your crappy agency copays to do it. Does that make sense? So every week I do a Flash group for therapists. You can come, you can process your annoying whatever. You can process this stuff. Come, we'll do this work together. Okay? Good. I'm going to send the link for that as well. Okay? Come to a 6-hour training. I'm probably not going to be doing a live Flash training in Minneapolis in the next decade. Does that make sense? So I'd love to see you there, right? If you can make it, I think it's going to really sink in if we can be in the same room and we can practice it together. Okay? So, any questions? I'm sending you links to the email, correct? You're welcome. If you have time, I'm doing this again in 50 minutes. Come back. We'll do it again together. But if you need to rest, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Get some rest. I do these Flash trainings, at least twice a month. Okay. Awesome. Any questions?
I have a question. I don't know how to
Yeah.
raise my hand on the Zoom. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So in talking about ADHD and complex trauma, and that's a lot of my caseload, and my experience in working through identifying the memory, it was difficult to work through to slice off a chronological memory. And so my brain and my intuition got on a theme a source of trauma, a bad marriage, for example. And as I was coming with the next memory, it was just my body was just sort of flashing, like
Yeah.
almost like a quick flashback. And then I was grabbing that and throwing it. So it wasn't chronological. It was like I still maybe needed to sort out some of the trash before I could even get to that point.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. It's probably not a way we want to encourage clients to work because then we'll have bunches of memory and working memory. But sometimes you can do some work around a theme to make the theme a little bit more approachable. We do that pretty regularly, including just having a client talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can.
Okay.
You can. Good.
Thank you.
And to be clear, the people who've asked, I'm sending an email with all the links in it this evening that I've referenced in the last few minutes, including the link to this training video. Okay. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? All right, everybody. Thank you all for coming. Rest
Thank
up.
you.
I'll see you sometime soon. Come back.
Thank you.
Come back. It'll be fun. Okay. Bye-bye.